recently I watched Turning Red with my family. And by recently, I mean a while ago, because after watching it, I found myself struggling with how to put my feelings about this movie into words. You see, the movie wasn't bad. In fact, in all sense of a good movie, this one should be one. But while watching it, I couldn't help but feel a disconnect with the messaging and characters that made me concerned. Like my inner compass was telling me this movie wasn't a good thing to watch, and as I trust my compass quite a bit, I decided to rewatch the movie, listen to other content creators' thoughts on it, and talk to my friends about it. Having done all that, I feel I've come across the reasons why I feel Turning Red isn't the greatest movie for us to be watching, and I'm going to share those with you. Before we get too deep into this thing, let's start with a basic story issue with the movie that made the entire film uncomfortable to watch, and that was it trying too hard to be relatable. May should be a relatable character to me. I struggled with a lot of the same things she did, with having a mother who was hard to please, and growing up greatly preferring to spend time with my friends over my family. Yet I did not connect with her at all, and with my friends even less. They felt one note. All May is a girl who wants to prove she's a woman. She has one overly energetic friend, one goth one, and one skater girl who acts as head of the group. Go ahead and try to tell me anything else about any of the other characters, including May. Go ahead, I'm waiting. Struggling? So was I. These girls' only interest was that boy band, and May liked drawing, but it didn't play much into the story beyond leading to an embarrassing moment. Instead, these girls were stuck purely in stereotypes. Stereotypical Chinese-Canadian teen. You got May. She was boring to watch because she was trying to be that every girl, and when you try to be an every girl, you end up being none of them. I could connect to the things that were happening to May, but I couldn't connect to her as a person because she didn't feel like a real person, and that made watching the movie difficult. It was honestly really sad to see because May has such potential to be a well-developed, fascinating character like Luca, but instead she and her friends were dull. Another case of trying to be so relatable, they lost their individuality. Diving all the way in, I want to talk about the part of this movie that concerned me the most, and that is how selfish it is at its core. May wants to go to a concert with her friends. Nothing wrong with that. Oh no, her mother doesn't want her to go. Okay, instead of talking about it, let's go behind her back, do an extremely dangerous thing of using a power no one fully understands to make money, and go anyways. During the presentation May gives to her parents, May's goal is to share why she thinks her going is a good thing. Only we don't get to see her give any reasons. In fact, she refuses to answer her mom when she asks why May wants to go so badly. Also, $200 is a lot of money by today's standards. May never talks to her mom, despite her mom reaching out to her, and it was so frustrating to watch, especially as the movie was trying to show the mom as being in the bad and the wrong, which was very unfair to her. What May wants is selfish, dangerous, and expensive, and I think the mom was in the right to say no to it. And to those who say the mom is too overbearing, I agree. Coming to school was out of the line, and so was the journaling thing, 100%. But she was doing all that stuff out of love and because she cared about May, and also the red panda power can kill people if not controlled, and May is only 13. To be honest, I don't think I would have minded anything May did in the movie if the movie had made it a point at the end to show May wishing she had done things differently, wishing she had talked to her mom more openly about everything. But it doesn't. Instead, it has the mom being shown as being in the wrong for not letting her daughter play with potentially deadly things and feeling guilty, and praises May for having done the right thing in going against her parents' back. But it wasn't the right thing. She hurt her parents and all the people in the entire Bloomin' Stadium. She was selfish. People got hurt, and she's glad of it because it means she gets to keep her red panda and feel like a woman. And if that's what it takes to be a woman, then I think I'll stay a girl forever, because that isn't the type of person I want to be, and certainly not the type of person I want my kids watching movies about. And now I want to bring it all back together and talk about my own life experiences related to this movie to give you guys more insight into why I personally don't approve of this movie. I grew up in a Christian home in which I was homeschooled. One of my brothers had anger issues and was failing in school, and for the other, reading disabilities made school a struggle. Because of this, I was expected not only to do all my schooling alone so my mother could focus on my brothers, but also to do extremely well because, as my mother once literally said to me, the hope of the family becoming something rests on me. So, no pressure, right? To escape this never-ending pressure and the violence of my brother, I spent all my spare time at friends' houses or doing extra activities such as co-op, drama, choir, church, or literally anything that kept me out of the house. So now imagine my excitement when Pixar announced a movie that would be touching on some of the themes that have impacted my life so much. Anger issues that can hurt people, such as my brothers, a mother who's overbearing but is so because they truly love you and want the best for you, like my mom, and a close-knit friend group that became the escape, such as my friends were for me. Now imagine my disappointment at watching May make the same mistakes I did as a child without learning from them as I did. When May explodes on her mom, it leads to her feeling better and more open, but that rarely happens. Shouting only leads to more shouting till someone is trying to choke themselves in front of you, or dishes are broken and your hand is bleeding, and in the end, you feel even more distant. You can't hear each other over shouting, and I really wish movies would stop showing shouting as this great release of emotions that can help with your communication, because I've yet to meet someone where it has worked for them, and it hasn't made things hopelessly worse. As for going against her mom's back, I can honestly say I never did that as a child. My family was hurting so much that the idea of hurting them more for my own personal gain made me physically sick. I had friends dare me to sneak out of the house to come to one of their parties, and I always said no. To be honest, I believe that to be the reason I was able to heal my broken relationships with my family, because I chose to trust and love my parents even when I wasn't feeling very loved and trusted by them. And as I did that, a weird thing happened. Instead of shouting, we started talking. At 13, I explained to my mothers my worries, and we worked it out. At 13, the very age of May, I learned my brother's triggers and changed my entire lifestyle to avoid them so he could become comfortable around me. This worked so well that during university, we hung out every Friday, and he once hugged me in the public hangout space out of the blue in front of people he knew. He hates hugs, like they're top of his most hated thing list. But he also learned I loved them, and he made an effort to show he cared by making himself uncomfortable for my comfort. And all this only happened once the shouting stopped, once the grabbing for what we wanted ended, and we sat down and talked and focused on each other. Both my oldest brother and my mom are two people I go to when I need advice or am struggling, and I only got there by avoiding the things turning red encourages. So yeah, I don't like this movie. The characters are one note, and while I feel the topics it addresses are important ones, it does it in a way that is going to do more harm than good. I don't get how May was able to fix her problems by doing the very thing that caused my family ours. And I can't agree with a movie that might convince someone to go down that horrible road I had to walk. Getting what you want isn't how you fix relationships. Being selfless and understanding and communicating is. And if you're going through similar things I was, can I just encourage you to do random acts of kindness to the people whose relationship you're struggling with? Draw them a picture, do one of their chores, whatever, and if the door is open for you to talk with them, take that opportunity seriously. It could be the thing that saves your family. It was for mine. So yeah, went a bit deep there, but this is something very dear and personal to my heart, and I've been struggling to get it out since I first watched this movie. So hopefully you learned something. I am interested to hear your thoughts on the movie, ones not tinted by my very specific life experiences, because I am open that it may just be my life experiences making this movie unwatchable for me, and that without those I'd enjoy it. But I think I'd need to know your thoughts and ideas about it to find out for sure. So leave me those comments. But this is all the time I have for today. I hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed day, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye!